The God Machine is a sentient, supernatural, alien entity. It kind of functions a little bit like a supercomputer, an occult supercomputer, and one that has an interest in Earth. Buckle up, because we are going to be talking about one of the most interesting things that I have seen in World of Darkness outside of a sentient ashtray. There are some ground rules before we begin. I am going to be talking about a subject that some people can get pretty worked up over. Know that this is just a game, this is just an interpretation of things, so let's keep all comments in the comment section below civil. Thank you. In the Testament of Marco Singe, the Pain Prophet of New Delhi, he describes the God Machine as the creator, though whether or not it actually was the creator of everything, no one knows. In Marco's testaments, he describes an elaborate history between the machine and its three children, angels, demons, essentially, and humans. He also describes a city that was built in the sky and of its destruction. Now, the way that this would read to the average person is a slightly distorted version of Atlantis. In his testament, Singe talks about a prophecy that was given by the God Machine, and he basically forms his life around this prophecy. What rises must fall. What has fallen may rise again. His family would then go on to form the Deva Corporation, a very powerful Indian conglomerate with the ultimate goal of controlling the God Machine. When it comes to the World of Darkness, there really isn't any setting where the God Machine does not interact with it in some way. Now, unfortunately, Singe got several things wrong. He believes that demons were created from normal animals, not that they were fallen angels. Ultimately, they were algorithms of the God Machine who came to question their purpose and rebelled. And when they rebelled, they lost their connection to the God Machine. Not much is known about the God Machine except for the fact that it has surpassed Clarke's third law. What is Clarke's third law, you may ask? An excellent question. Any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. But even the God Machine has limits. In order to function, the God Machine requires infrastructure. This infrastructure is called an occult matrix. It is an extremely precise supernatural manipulation of the laws of physics in a specific area. Unfortunately for the God Machine, these occult matrices, they can be disrupted even by mortals. Although this would be very difficult to do because many of these locations, these matrices, are actually protected by angels. Some even spawn angels, which gives them a miraculous nature to the non-supernatural onlooker. These angels, outside of protecting this new area, this new matrix that has been formed, will then go on to build more of them, thus continuing the work and building out of the God Machine forever. Before we move on, if you are enjoying the video today, then please let me know by hitting the thumbs up button. And if you want to see more World of Darkness content from myself, then please hit subscribe with the bell notification so you don't miss my next upload. What do we know about the God Machine? Not much. The God Machine, while extremely powerful, is not omnipresent, omnipotent, or omniscient. By that logic, this machine can't be God in and of itself. The God Machine thinks at such a grand scale. Its design is so huge in the way that it operates, no human could really comprehend its design. But this also gives the machine a weakness in that because it thinks at such large scale, it can miss some small details. One thing that has been discovered about the God Machine and its blueprints, the things that it uses to construct occult matrices, all of its matrices have one weakness. Not necessarily the same weakness throughout all of them, but the single weakness is the linchpin to the destruction or undoing of that specific occult matrix. From this linchpin, a matrix can be hijacked, it can be controlled, it can be destroyed. And it's through understanding these blueprints, these single points of failures, understanding the one linchpin event that could destroy or allow Singe and his family to capture a matrix and thus control some laws of physics, and while no one seems to actually understand the ultimate goal of the God Machine, one thing that does seem to be universally accepted by those who are aware of its presence is that it tries to maintain some kind of status quo. It likes things the way they are, and it's trying to maintain them. Does the God Machine care about humans or humanity? In short, no. The God Machine is, of course, aware of the existence of humans, but it has no strong feelings one way or the other on whether their existence is continued, at least as far as anyone can tell. And as far as humans go, Marco Singe was not the first human to discover the God Machine. He is just the most recent one in modern history. Others throughout history have discovered the existence of the God Machine. Most went crazy at its discovery. Seeing the way that it worked, it kind of drove them all mad. For a human, it's just a bit too much to take in the brain, kind of like, looking into the abyss. For those who have seen the God Machine's inner workings and did not go crazy, they were actually transformed into something else. Through the processes of the God Machine and its infrastructure, it gives off a waste heat. This has been called aether, and unfortunately, for those who have come into contact with them, it has transformed them in some way. Humans who have been transformed by it are known as stigmatics. However, animals are also not immune to the effects of aether and what it fundamentally does to your body. Those animals that have been transformed by it are called cryptids. So from the shadows, what does humanity do with this information? Well, the Deva Corporation is trying to harness the God Machine for its own individual purposes. Other groups, like the Mechanists, they try to understand the God Machine and its pieces. Some worship the God Machine as a deity. Others see it as God's machine to watch over his creation. Regardless of what humans believe about it, the God Machine does use them for its purposes. It does understand humans well enough to use reward and punishment to get the results it desires. But what about werewolves, vampires, and other creatures in the world of darkness? The God Machine is aware of them and does use them to its own ends like it does the humans. However, it doesn't destroy their tiny little minds. Not nearly as easily anyways. For World of Darkness purposes, the Unchained have the most experience when it comes to the God Machine because they used to serve it. Who are the Unchained, you ask? Well, they are the main protagonists when it comes to Demon the Fallen. Hunters also have a conspiracy around the God Machine. They have an entire order which hunts renegade angels down. The Knights of St. Adrian. They probably are unwitting pawns to the machinations of the God Machine. Changelings have also had limited contact with the God Machine. However, Changelings have discovered something that is rather unusual in the sense that the God Machine has no presence, no infrastructure within the hedge. Mages also have an interest with the God Machine. Seers of the Throne are a group who specifically have more in alignment with the God Machine. They have sometimes even helped in the construction of new infrastructure for the God Machine. The werewolves even have contact with the God Machine, though they don't necessarily see it that way if you were to ask the werewolves themselves. Of the few demons who have been in contact with the werewolves and somewhat understand their organization and hierarchy, those demons have come to the realization that the entity the werewolves describe as Luna is actually a very powerful defense mechanism for the God Machine. Even within Vampire Society, there is a small covenant that is dedicated to the God Machine. The Holy Engineers. Now, this is a group who has dedicated themselves to Singe's testament, and they seek communion with the Fury of Death. Another group of vampires that frequently come across pieces of infrastructure. However, instead of destroying them, they seek to take them in for themselves and understand it, is Ordo Dracul. If any of this has inspired you to more World of Darkness and you would like to understand more about the vampires, you need to click here or up here for the werewolves. Thank you to all of my patrons for supporting me and the channel. My name's Nathaniel. Thanks for stopping by, everyone.